What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League deadline stream. This one's for Gameweek 20. No chips this week, which is different from the last 2 weeks. I've already made one transfer of bringing in Gundogan and getting rid of De Bruyne. Let me know whatever questions you may have for this week. Here's my team as it's set up right now. Fernandez captain, Stones vice captain. I'm still playing Rashford at the moment simply because they said he's available. There's a decent chance that he comes off the bench. That's the main thing I'm worried about. So I will probably be looking into some things I could do. I could take a -4 here. I have so much money in the bank that that's something I could do as well. But yes, nice to see you. Let me pull up chat, make sure I am live. It looks like I am. All right, sounds all good. How's it going, Harvey? And good to see you back again for another week. Do I think Walker will start? Well, let's go to Walker's, let's go to who started recently for Man City. I know they had that cup game. Let me check out that cup game. Just go to Man City fixtures. Because really the answer is probably going to be we just don't know, which is a tough one to deal with. So this was Saturday. Okay, so basically, Walker did not play at all on Saturday, as far as I can see. Yeah, he didn't play at all Saturday. Cancelo came off the bench Saturday, so either way, they're both ready to play. And of course, Cancelo could always play left back. If you look at the other people that were subbed on with Cancelo, or Cancelo, however you pronounce it, they're Gundogan and Diaz, two nailed-on starters. So hopefully, for my sake, Cancelo is thought of in the same category. He was putting them on to warm them up for this game. So with Cancelo, again, this is just we're doing some hopeful Pep math here. With that likely to mean that Cancelo starts, I would say that it's likely the case that Walker he has a good chance to be benched. I mean, Cancelo could always play left back, but Walker didn't play at all. So. If I had to predict, I think I would predict Walker starts. I think what they should do at least is play Cancelo at left back. I think he's great at left back. But let's go to Walker. He's injured, right? I forgot about that. If he's fit to play, I think he starts because I think they could really use Cancelo on left back. It seemed to be working well for them. I think Pep would want that tactical advantage. Now, I have no news about Kyle Walker's injury, so let's look up Kyle Walker injury on Twitter, and let's see if we can find some good accounts tweeting about it. Okay, apparently he returned to full training yesterday. Okay, he was back in training with the rest of the squad. It sounds fine. Like, it's enough where I would start him either way in your FPL team if this is the dilemma you're having, whether to start him or not, or sell him. As long as you have a somewhat decent sub, I would start him. I wouldn't be too worried about a random sub appearance. It could happen, of course, but I don't think that's something that would put you off. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just hope Cancelo plays for my team personally. Hey, Ollie, how's it going? I don't think Cavani is a great choice because, well, Rashford makes it interesting, but with Rashford being available, let's go to Manchester United. I think in their cup game, they didn't. I'm just making sure they don't have any attackers I'm forgetting about. No, so they didn't start Bruno. He's guaranteed to start this week, as far as I'm concerned, against Sheffield United. They did start Rashford, and they benched Martial. The thing is that they didn't play Martial at all, and they did play Cavani. So there's a decent chance Cavani's benched. Now, with Rashford out, I would assume Cavani starts, but they could always do something like, who are they playing? Sheffield United. Sheffield United do like to press them. That could be reason enough for him to throw in Daniel James. They could go Martial 9, right wing James, left wing Greenwood, and then Cam Bruno, and that would leave out Cavani. I think it's, but of course Rashford, we just don't know. So if Rashford fits in there as well, that would be another less chance of Cavani. But I'm saying even with Rashford out, I could see it's possible where Cavani gets benched. I don't think Cavani's worth it for this price. I mean, I really don't even think Martial is worth it for this price. He's still on my team for now for this 1 week. But after that, these guys are probably going to go. Like, even Rashford, like, even if he does well, like, I'm interested in getting rid of them because I want Son or Salah even. Salah just scored midweek, and after this week, let me just go to all players because Son and Salah will be right here. So Son, not the best fixtures, but Brighton, West Brom, that's my planned transfer. I don't know exactly how I'll bring him in. It could be Rashford out, it could be Souček out. I have the money to do that as well. But keeping Rashford for one more week, I'm not really sure why I would do that. Salah's fixtures are the next two after this Tottenham game are pretty good. Like, these aren't bad. So I know it's just two, but it's Salah, and I kind of do want it back. So if I do that, I don't quite have enough to get Son, so I'd have to probably make 2 transfers, and then Martial will probably go. And then I'm looking at something like Bamford in. So those are my plans for the moment. Yeah, Harveen, I do think that was my highest score ever last time. I've played this game for a while now, like before I started doing these videos, but before I did that, I was just playing against my family in our little head-to-head league, so we would do dumb things like, oh, I'll take a hit if you take a hit, just to get advantage on our opponents in the future game weeks. But yeah, anyway, I don't remember scoring over 120 points. And I got, 132? I don't really remember the last time I scored over 100. So it's been a while ago. I'm sure it was a double game week with Bale and Asuakato and all those guys. But yeah, this was probably my highest scoring week. And I ended up at 16K after the rest of the games. Yeah, so as Onage points out, I think Crystal Palace do concede a lot of headers. But there's also numbers that show with Antonio in the team, Souček hasn't done as well. Now, this is pretty small sample size stuff and all that, and Souček still got in the box last game. I was okay. I was okay with how much he got in the box. I wasn't like super impressed with it or anything, but I wasn't like I wasn't really too upset about it. He didn't take a shot all game. But the thing is that I have other decent options here. So Holding and James, before the stream started, I actually kind of decided that I think James may actually be better than Souček. It's sort of a tough one. They just got a new manager, though, so I don't know if that's going to positively impact them or negative. It shouldn't really make a difference, right? Even if Rashford doesn't play, Holding comes in. I think Holding's going to nail down the number 1 spot. And the one reason for this is that if you go to expected goals for who they play, Southampton in this year they've been 4th worst for expected goals. That's pretty bad. And expected goals against Arsenal are pretty good. They're 5th best. So right away that makes it favorable. But also recently Arsenal have defended very well, I feel like. So if we look at since January 1st, Arsenal I haven't even checked this. Arsenal have actually gave up a lot of expected goals since this month started. Let's go a little further back, though. I try to get at least like 4 or 5 games, not just 2 or 3. So we'll just go a month back. We'll add another game in there, another game or 2. Yeah, Arsenal have actually defended pretty poorly. Oh, that's expected goals. What am I talking about? Wow. No, so Arsenal, they're right above mid-table for expected goals against. They played 5 though. Some of these teams only played 4 or 3. Everton. So I would say Arsenal are probably like 4, 5, 6. They're probably like 6th best or so in terms of defensively, and Southampton are very, very low down here in terms of the chances they've created. And that's been shown. I was looking at this earlier, just like how many goals have Southampton actually scored recently, because you also have to finish your chances, not just get the expected goals. So last game, where's the Southampton? Oh yeah, they lost 2-0 to Leicester. That was a pretty easy game. I watched that game. Didn't really trouble them too much, I don't think. And then before that, Southampton did beat Liverpool 1-0. Now, I tend to write these Liverpool upsets that have happened, like the Aston Villa one, off as just like as just one-off things that I don't really look too much into. Before this, we can see Southampton drew 0-0 with West Ham. And then before that, Southampton drew 0-0 with Fulham. So it hasn't been great. They haven't finished well, and they lost 1-0 to Man City before that, but you can't blame them for that one. So, and then 1-1 with Arsenal, back when Arsenal weren't even doing good. And then before that, they finally had a big game where they scored 3 against Sheffield United. So they haven't scored a lot. I would expect them to score 0 or 1 against Arsenal this week, a team who defended pretty decently. Holding doesn't really have much attacking threat. He does get forward on corners. I felt like he could have scored once. I believe it was last game he had a header that I'm like, that was a pretty big chance. One of the biggest chances Arsenal had. They had a lot, though, so I probably shouldn't say that. All right, let's go to chat, answer some questions. So, yeah, that's basically why I'm not starting Souček. I have a lot of options on the bench here. Between James and Souček, I'll look a little bit more into that later, who should be second sub, because it could come into play. But I think Saka, Gundogan, Fernandes, and Rashford are all solidly above Souček, and definitely the strikers. And, I need to play 3 defenders regardless. So, if anything, the argument would be for Souček first sub for me. That could mean he comes on for Rashford. McCarthy or Fabianski? Jacob, let's see. So, who does Fabianski play? You said Fabianski, right? Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty straightforward. I think you play Fabianski. It's simply a better matchup. Crystal Palace have not been too good, if I think I'm right about this. Yeah, so if we sort by expected goals, Crystal Palace over the past 5 games, only XG of 2.53. So you would expect them to score basically 1 in every other game based on the rate they've been playing at. And West Ham, on the other hand, have West Ham, where are they at? Oh, they defended very well, actually. So top 3 for expected goals against. That's with 5 games played. So they're really second, I would say, because Everton have only played 3 in that time, and they're barely losing to them. So West Ham defended very well recently. Keep in mind that those fixtures that West Ham have had have been pretty good, though. So I would say like Liverpool, Tottenham, and all these teams have actually been defending better than them, but still they've been defending well against small teams. And Crystal Palace, I would put them in that category as well. That's one reason. Like, if your question is Souček versus Soufal this week, I think I would go Soufal. That's I've seen some people have that dilemma within their team on Twitter and stuff. I think that's the way I would go with that. Soufal or Dallas. So Leeds have not impressed recently, but they play Newcastle, and this is a tough decision for a lot of people. Somebody even asked me, should I captain Bamford? I personally wouldn't do that. I think he's good to have Bamford. But looking at Newcastle, let's go back to expected goals. Let's see if what I say is right or reflects in the stats. So Newcastle, one of these teams that are down here with Crystal Palace. They're actually been worse than Crystal Palace in terms of creating goals. Now, a lot of times when I do this, when I sort by expected goals against, we'll see Leeds like all the way at the top. This time they're around mid-table, so it looks to me that they've improved some things. That is only 4 games, so I would expect them to really be like a little bit worse than mid-table. But I think Soufal has more clean sheet threat. I think I would go Soufal. I would simply trust him more because I think their attacking threat is pretty similar. Soufal didn't create a bunch of chances last games, but he did get that assist. It was very nice. Hey Kobe, how's it going? Yeah, so yeah, I would do that. Yeah, Paul, I agree. I agree that Chelsea options in general could get a boost temporarily. And, a lot of times they bring in these managers with a run of good fixtures to boost their confidence, and that's kind of what they've done here. Wolves, Burnley, Tottenham isn't amazing, but Sheffield, Newcastle, Southampton, you see what they're doing here. I think for some of their attackers it could be good. The issue is that I don't really know which ones to bring in, and I also have attackers that I think can do reasonably well. And there's also uncertainty about who will start. And Werner still just hasn't been good. It's not like we've seen Werner do well in the Premier League, and then for tactical reasons or coaching reasons or whatever, he started doing bad. it could be the case that it's simply impossible for him to do well, like because of what other reasons we don't know of. Like maybe I don't know, he just gets too nervous playing in the Premier League or something. If he has going, Target or Wan-Bissaka. Who do Aston Villa play? I don't have any Villa players anymore. Burnley. I think I would have to play Wan-Bissaka here. I think both teams have a decent chance of conceding a goal. I think Villa probably has a little Target probably has a little more attacking threat. But Villa have not defended too well recently. Manchester United have simply defended much better. I think for me, if you have Wan-Bissaka, if you're looking at that Sheffield United matchup, you have to play him. I think both teams concede, though, to be honest. I think Sheffield United will get one against Manchester United just from pressing them and winning the ball, potentially. I don't know if Rashford will start. I think there's a decent chance, but he did just start last game. I think this may actually be a decision I have to make here. I may actually want to bench him. It sucks because if he starts, I want him 100% in the team. I think it's a great matchup tactically for him. I mentioned that in my video, but I think it's the most likely outcome that he's benched or doesn't play at all. And benched and subbed on is not what I want because I have good subs. I could play them instead. So I really just don't know. 2 from Soufal, Justin, Holding, Watkins, and Souček for Gameweek 20. Who do Leicester play? Okay, Everton. Oof. Because, all right, I think you play. Okay, well, I don't think you play Souček. I think right now it's between Soufal, Holding, and Watkins. So I gotta get rid of one of those. I think you just gotta play Watkins if you have him because he's shown that he has the explosive capabilities that I don't necessarily think that Soufal and Holding have. So from then I think you go Soufal and Watkins. I'm currently playing Soufal over Holding. It's a tough decision as well, but like I said, I could always bench Rashford. I'm not too excited about doing that. Like he said Rashford's available. The fact that he said Rashford's available makes me think that he's probably going to at least be on the bench. So I kind of don't really expect Rashford to not play at all. Which I don't know. Let's look at go to their official play. Let me just read over what exactly he said. Let me also check out the United fixtures, see who they played recently or upcoming, if they have any cup games that are added in here that I've forgotten about. Manchester United, because this is pretty important. Because they could rest him for future games if they have a lot coming up. And I know fixtures are getting pretty congested. So they play Arsenal in 4 days. I think Rashford is probably subbed on in this game. But the one hope is that he's the coach knows that Rashford has done well against Sheffield United recently, and he's a way to break their press because they have been pressing against United a lot. And his speed, he loves to make those runs in behind when Bruno gets on the ball or whatnot. In fact, I think he's limited to that a bit too much with Bruno and Pogba in a team when they're in there together. All Rashford ends up doing is making runs in behind. Regardless, I think that works well against Sheffield United. So if they feel like they really need that, then they'll go for that. But I don't think they do. I think he probably comes off the bench here. So my issue is the slight possibility that he starts or doesn't play at all, because that's an acceptable outcome as well. But really what I'm going for is him starting, while less likely, could be more beneficial than simply playing Holding. And I'm worried that one of my fears here that isn't tied to necessarily getting points, but more about embarrassment, is like playing Rashford on the bench and him doing really well, because that would while that may not necessarily be the worst play, that outcome could seem the most hurtful. And I don't want to make a decision just based on that. So DCL, Rafinha, and Souček, you can only start 2 of them. I'm getting to this. question was asked 13 minutes ago, but still. So for Pratik, I think you go. I don't think you can play Rafinha. Man, Rafinha has actually got a great matchup though. I think you have to play Calvert-Lewin and Rafinha, and I think you bench Souček. I've been saying bench Souček every time, so I hope he doesn't do anything. Sterling and Watt. I'm going to say no to Sterling, Mark. I don't think you can go for him. It costs too much. He's not a terrible option, but I think Gundogan's stats are right up there with him. In some cases, maybe better. I would go Son or Gundogan or even maybe Grealish over Sterling. But I would definitely go Son over Sterling. Gundogan's more short-term. Son, like I said, I'll probably bring him in next week. But I'm not too interested in Sterling. But Watkins is a fine option. Not amazing fixtures, but not terrible. Stones or Cancelo if you already have Diaz. I think if you don't have Stones, you bring in Stones. And that's regardless if you already have Cancelo, already have Diaz. I think Stones is the way to go just because he's that extra bit cheaper, which can really make a difference. Although right now, money isn't necessary. In the future, it may be, because we'll probably hold these Man City defenders for a while. The reason money right now isn't that valuable is because everybody has it, because they sold De Bruyne for the most part. I did De Bruyne to Gundogan. Probably people did De Bruyne to Grealish. But, if you do De Bruyne to Sterling or maybe Salah or whatever, and then that may not be the case. El Ghazi, I think you look to sell him, Kobe. I really do. If you have him, I would probably bench him, which sucks. But I think the most likely outcome is the sub appearance, and I think it's arguably more likely than Rashford, for example. But for now, I'm trying to decide if I put Rashford on the bench here. Man, that would be terrible. I think I may have to play him and hope, which I don't like doing. I could also simply sell him, but I don't think that's the way to go, because the player I would bring in would be Son against Liverpool. And it would be for a -4, and that's the -4 is probably the main downside of that whole idea. I would not transfer and target for holding. I would just keep holding. If you have holding this week, I would play him. Choose one for playing 11. Wood, Souček, or Soufal. Soufal or Wood for me. I can't decide between the two. I think I would go Soufal if I had to choose. I typically would favor the attacker, but with Burnley attackers, are they actually attackers? That's the question. Soufal, Souček, or Wilson. If you're starting one, I think you have to go Wilson. Yeah, I would go Wilson. I mean, against Leeds, finisher like Wilson, I think if he gets a chance, there's a decent chance he gets some points out of it. It's weird, they moved the overall rank. I swear overall used to be below game week 1, right? Yeah, I think so. I don't know why they moved that. Anyway, that's strange. So I haven't pressed save on it yet, but I'm very tempted to play holding. It's a safer play, I suppose. The other one's more risky, but higher upside. I guess safe's a weird way to put it. Yeah, Paul, I mean, the thing about Werner is he costs just a little too much for me. Like, he's the same price as Son, for example. I know that's different positions. He's more than people like Grealish in the midfield and even, Gundogan, and Saka and players like this. These valuable midfielders that probably are better than Werner. I mean, even if Werner gets informed, some of these cheap midfielders could outperform him. So I think it could be beneficial to simply switch around the formation a little bit. It's easier to do on a wild card, but Son or Rashford or Gundogan for mid. So I would not go Rashford. I would go Son or Gundogan. I brought in Gundogan. I'm going to bring in Son next week. I think the longer term option is Son, and he's also safe because you basically know he's going to play 90 minutes every week, and that's going to be important coming up soon with these congested fixtures. So, depending on your team, I'm able to go Gundogan just because I want to bring Son in next week. I don't want to bring in Son versus the Liverpool game, but I would pick one of those. Gunnigan on penalties. Gunnigan's a good penalty taker. Like I mentioned in my video, I like Gunnigan on penalties. And his open play threat has been there as well. Antonio or Kane or Wilson. I think you find a way. I think you get Kane and Antonio in the long run. But if you have to pick one, I think I still go with Kane. It's a lot of money. You did Robbo Stones, Adam. Welcome back, by the way. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Stones is simply... He's hard not to have at the moment because the center back's being nailed on, and he's cheaper than Diaz, and obviously he scored the 2 goals. But he has been having some chances recently, and that's probably... obviously, he had at least 2 shots in that game. I think maybe he had like a half chance besides that. Not sure, though. I know he had a chance where... oh, no, I think they just sent like a couple crosses to him. He didn't quite get on the end of or something like that. I don't think he had an extra shot. I could always check it, though. I would go Soufal over Dallas. It's a close one. I mean, with these cheap defenders, it's hard to decide. But, you know, like I said earlier, I think you go with Soufal here. I like him for this matchup. I just do. So, Sinless, I'm interested in getting Salah for sure. Again, I could bring him in instead of Son next week if I really wanted to. So, very long term, the way this could go is, let's say I decide to get rid of Rashford next week and not Souček. Do I have good defensive fixtures? Okay, I'll probably have to play James Stones Cancelo next week. Bench Holding and Soufal. I don't think their matchups are the greatest. Yeah, so West Ham play Liverpool. So maybe I bench Antonio. And that means maybe I keep Rashford for 1 week. If he's fine, I'll have to wait to make this transfer. Then I go Souček the Sun, and now I have 2.3 million in the bank. So in the distant, or who knows what point in the future, right? So let's say I keep the Manchester United guys through the Arsenal game, and then they play Southampton, Everton, West Brom, Newcastle. So I'll be enticed to keep them, but whenever I get rid of them, the easiest thing to do is Martial downgrade to somebody like Bamford, or maybe Calvert-Lewin. Bamford, pretty decent fixtures. It's okay, it's average, I would say. And there's also Watkins. Anybody at this price, whoever's doing well. Watkins, some decent fixtures as well. Calvert-Lewin, obviously just coming back. We don't know how good they'll be. Probably a little more mixed fixtures. So let's say I just play it with the reasonably safe option of Bamford, who's probably on penalties also. Then that allows me to, with plenty of money, I can bring Salah in. So I would like for my team to look like this in a couple weeks' time, but it could depend on how good Manchester United are doing. I could also just do these 2 transfers the same week, get rid of both Manchester United, and bring in somebody else if they look poor. And that could be next week against Arsenal. You know, maybe I make some transfers. I was actually planning to do that. So before the KDB injury, and I go KDB down to Gundogan, I was planning on not making any transfers this week, just having KDB there. And then next week, I was going to make all 3 of those transfers for a -4, because I'd have 2 free transfers at that point. I was going to do something like that. Obviously, I couldn't do the exact same thing, but because of the Gundogan money. But I was going to bring in one of those 2 midfielders and then also Bamford. But with the I like the Gundogan move. I personally like Gundogan. Hey Davey, I think you bench Souček of those. Souček goes on the bench a lot for me this week. It's not ideal. Like there's a lot of good fixtures. Like a lot of the highly owned players, I think they have decent fixtures. So I think he just sort of ends up on the bench by default in a lot of cases. He just didn't have any chances in the double game week at all. So assuming he just continues like that, I know one of the crosses could fall to him, but I think Robertson. I think you definitely play Soufal. If you want to bench Robertson, that I would be okay with that as well. But my choice, I think if I was doing it, I would bench Souček. I do think Cancelo will play Kobe, yes. I think it's, in any given game, I would say it's probably like a 75% chance at least that Cancelo starts, simply because of how good he's been. I would say that would probably be most likely. But we never know. It is good to have a good bench. Taylor to Diaz for a hit. If Taylor's your best playing option, like if you can't bench him for somebody else, Yeah, I think that makes sense long term as well. Burnley don't have a terrible matchup, but I think Aston Villa can get at least one. I think you go ahead and do that for long term over the next 3 fixtures. I think it'll pay off. Foden thoughts? I can't personally take a punt on Foden. I'm too worried about him not starting regularly or getting subbed off, those kind of things. And even when he does play, you know, sometimes we get caught up in this trap with the Man City players, like, oh, I think he'll start this week. Let me bring him in. But just because he starts, obviously, doesn't mean he'll do anything. But so much of the conversation gets focused around whether he starts. Even when Foden starts, I think he's a good option. Don't get me wrong. At 6.3, he's not bad. But I just like Gundogan more. More nailed on for 90 minutes, and he's got the penalties. Like last game, we saw Foden with a lot of attacking threat, which is fine from an FPL perspective. But I don't know. He personally hasn't shown me the ability to always apply the finishing product, whether that's a good pass or a good finish. And Gundogan's on penalties. And Man City have gotten a good amount of penalties recently. So, we've seen KDB miss a penalty. He's scored 1 or 2 this season. Sterling missed a penalty. And some of those were pretty recently. Who else had the penalty? I forgot. Oh, yeah, Gundogan did last game. I don't think Cavani's going to start. I think there's a decent chance he comes off the bench, though. If I had to guess, I don't think he starts. If Rashford doesn't start, then Cavani has a pretty good chance, though. But we just don't really know with the Rashford situation. I personally wouldn't get Cavani as an FPL option, though. A little bit too expensive for me, given his rotation risk. And the same goes for Martial. I know I have him, but playing left wing, I don't really like him. So play 2 of Bowen, Soufal, Adams, and Rafinha. I'm going to have to say, so some good matchups here, actually. I'm going to say, I think my gut says Bowen and Soufal, actually, both the West Ham guys. Not a huge fan of Rafinha. I think, I know he's got a good matchup, though. I think I would play Soufal and then probably Rafinha or Bowen. I think I go Bowen. I don't really like any of those, to be honest, besides Soufal. But they have decent matchups, so it's not terrible. Which 3 out of Robertson, Dallas, Konza, Soufal, Wilson, Souček should I play? 3 from those. Okay, well again, I'm gonna say Soufal. I'm gonna say I think you have to play Wilson. And then the other ones are tough. I would probably go Robertson because Liverpool-Tottenham is likely to be low scoring. I think Tottenham, there's a good chance they score 1 or no goals. And obviously with Robertson, there's always some attacking threat there. But I think it's going to be a low scoring game. Jose does... Every time I've watched Tottenham and Jose managing Tottenham against Liverpool, I felt like Jose has played it almost perfectly. And his players don't quite finish their chances or just finish the job, get the points. I know they did well recently against them, but I quite like Mourinho against Liverpool. But I think I would still go Robertson. So I think you don't necessarily have to bring in Stones for Dallas or Soufal this week. If you're for which one, I would get rid of Dallas before I get rid of Soufal. But yeah, getting in Stones is a good idea. I was just gonna say let's say you only have to play one of Soufal or Dallas, then it's not necessarily a pressing issue that you get rid of him this week because he has a good fixture. So I like that team, Kobe. Okay, you have Bruno. I was about to ask, who are you captaining? But I see Bruno there. Not a huge fan of Madison, though. I don't think he'll get a lot of chances necessarily. I don't mind him as a player, but he doesn't get quantity of chances. He hasn't been recently, even though he's been scoring. And I think it's likely that Tielemans is on penalties. We don't really know, though. Ooh, Soufal or Konza. I think, again, I'm going to have to choose Soufal here. I'm going to stick with him. I think both are good, though. I can't really say with any confidence. I think Soufal has a little more attacking threat, though, so I think that makes the difference. Let's go back to Understat. Let's see how good Burnley have been in terms of creating expected goals. So, I mean, Crystal Palace have been worse than Burnley over the past 5 games, and pretty significantly worse too, about twice as poor. So I think for me that makes the decision. The thing about Crystal Palace is they always have Wilfred Zaha, and he could just produce one moment of magic and score. So again, it's the EPL. There's always going to be a bunch of competition. So it's hard to say. Let's see. How's it going, Charlie? You don't know who to bring in? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of options. There really is. So I went Gundogan. I think the safest option is probably Son. I'm going to bring him in next week. Those are the top two for me. Other than that, Grealish, I don't love his fixtures, but he's still Grealish, playing on the left wing. Probably gives him more goal threat now that Barkley's back. I think those are the top three. Other than that, it's tough. Just don't go Rashford. Just don't do that. Rashford or Robertson to start. Wow, I mean, I can't even really answer that one. Pratik, I haven't answered it myself. I feel like I'm in a similar situation, right? I would equate Robertson to holding this week, given the fixtures that they have, and I simply just can't decide. Rashford's high upside if he starts, that's for sure. Sheffield United's a good matchup for him, so I'll just have to think more about it. When do Manchester United play? They play tomorrow. I think he'd be ready. I mean, I think he'll be ready to start. I think I'm just going to take the chance and play him. And I will probably leave points on the bench. I mean, all these players could do something on the bench besides Johnston. Holding, James, and Souček. Those are some good options. Some good points. Leaving on the bench. But it's the way to go. Bench 3. Robbo, Trent, Stufal, Justin, Rafinha, Souček, and Adams. Okay. That's a lot. I think you at least have to play one of Trent or Robbo. So let's say play Robertson, Soufal. So I'm benching 3. I think you bench Adams, Souček. I think you bench Adams, Souček, and Justin or Rafinha. I think you take the chance with the double Liverpool defense. Justin versus Rafinha is a weird one because I like Justin more as a fantasy option, but I think the matchup is just a little worse. So I think you flip a coin between the two. What's been going on recently with Everton? But see, Everton, I'm not too convinced by whatever numbers I see here with Everton. They've been very poor. Not too poor, I'd say, but still, below average in terms of creating chances. But with Calvert-Lewin back and with more people back, I think you go either way. I mean, I don't know. Better option or better fixture. Take your pick. Would you drop Grealish to Gundogan in the fixture to fund Kane in the future? I think that probably would be worth it, but I think about the time you would do that, Grealish may have some decent fixtures. So I'm not exactly sure. Again, it just depends on how good Grealish is doing, of course. I think Son and Dyer could be good for the double game week, yeah. Kane isn't necessary because you could get Antonio. I mean, if you're playing with two strikers, you can have like Antonio and then like Bamford or Watkins or DCL, and then I think not having Kane is acceptable. But with so many premiums out, I personally like the look of Kane. So I would probably try to find a way to bring him in if you can easily within the next, preferably next week, because of the Brighton fixture. But I just like Kane. I've had him for a while too, so I'll also have some value in him. Not for too long, but still. Yeah, it's going to be hard for me at any point this season to sell both Kane and Son. Like, to not have either one would be tough. Start Mendy or Martinez. I think you go... Ooh, wow. Let's look recently how well Wolves have been creating chances. It's going to be hard to predict what Chelsea do. So Wolves have been mid-table creating chances. Chelsea have been giving up a decent amount. but Aston Villa have been giving up even more. I think you play Mendy simply because Aston Villa have given up a lot of chances recently. But they did play Man City in that time. That's almost too close to call for me. I'm trying to think. I think I would probably go Martinez, but it's a very tough one. I mean, against Burnley, I don't know if I could really say no to that. I know Wolves didn't really do that much against Chelsea last time, but they did win in the end. They didn't create too many chances, but I still like the look of Neto on the counterattack against Chelsea. I don't know. I think I would play Martinez. He's also got a decent history of getting good save points. And I would argue Burnley probably just don't have as many creative forces as Wolves do. Wolves may be tactically set up where they just don't create much, though. Like if they're set up too defensively with 5 at the back or whatever. I would bench Watkins or Chilwell. These are some tough questions. I think I would honestly lean towards benching Chilwell because I would favor. The thing about Watkins, I mean, all I can say is whenever I had him, I played him every week. Besides 1 week when he had a very bad matchup, I played him because he's got that. He's just got that ability to get a lot of points in 1 week. I think I would probably just stick with the attacker there. Yes, Nuclear Adams, Antonio. If you kept him all this time, geez, man, he's been great. Not the highest quantity of chances, but definitely finishing them well, and that's all we care about in terms of FPL points. Maybe not in the future, but start Sufal or Dallas. I'm going Sufal. Yeah, Kobe, I may. I was actually thinking of streaming live during the Man City game. So that would be 3:15 my time. I think it would be interesting to watch Gundogan and Cancelo and Stones. I have 3 players in the game, but also how they play without Kevin De Bruyne, I think it would be an interesting one to watch. The way I have things set up right now, though, I can't see chat while I watch the stream, so I'll have to get like an extra device or something. Start Justin or Souček first on bench. I mean, I've been a Souček hater. I have him in my team. He didn't do anything. And first week having him, he gets 4 points in a double game week. So maybe I just hate Souček. I'm just going to keep saying to bench him, I think. But I think in this case, it's much closer. Everton, like I said, they haven't created much recently, but they've got Calvert-Lewin back, but Leicester have defended well. You know, I think I would still play Justin over Souček, and the reason why is I think Justin arguably has a similar attacking threat, not goal threat, but assist threat. If he plays left back, I like when he gets forward from left back. Cuts inside, a little bit of Cancelo action sometimes. Chilwell or Rashford? Oh, Thomas, that is the question that I want to solve myself. It's the toughest one because I'm thinking the same thing you are, where I think the most likely outcome is Rashford's benched and then he starts versus Arsenal. And the problem with him being benched is I think he's subbed on because I think he'll be fine enough to play. Like you said, he's available for selection. That's what Ole said. So I think he's subbed on. And I think that leads to 1 point for us owners. The problem is if he does start, there is that chance, like I said, they're probably aware that it's a good matchup for Rashford. He can get in behind the press. So if he does start, it's a good matchup for him, and he has that high upside. And that's my decision, Rashford or Holding. I think the generic decision, the standard decision, is just to play the Rashford because he's got higher upside, and there's also the probability or the chance that he just doesn't play at all. So 90 minutes or 0 minutes is what I would prefer. How likely are those things? I would say, I would honestly say a little bit less than 50%. I would say it's the most likely outcome that he comes off the bench. He could always come off the bench and do something. So there's always that. But that's very, very unlikely. That doesn't happen very often for anybody. Bamford or Antonio? For me, it's Antonio all day right now at the moment, simply with the form he's in. And Leeds haven't been amazing. I would try to find a way to play both, though. I don't know what the situation is, but if you have both, I think they both have good fixtures, and they both are likely on penalties. We don't know for sure, though. Sterling, Maddison, or Gundogan. So I assume you're looking for a KDB replacement. Out of those 3, I think it's clear Gundogan. Sterling simply costs too much, and Maddison hasn't been getting a high he hasn't been getting many chances at all. So let's actually go, just to point this out for anybody that may be wondering, oh, I still have my midfielders pulled up for KDB replacements. Look at that. So if you go to expected goals per 90 minutes, since December 15th, we can see Madison is worse than, you ready for this? Grealish, Souček, Barnes, Foden, Rashford, De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Son. Madison has an expected goals per 90 minutes of 0.13. An expected assists, pretty bad as well, 0.17. Grealish, much better. He's got better stats than Souček, besides expected goals per 90 minutes, but Souček's obviously much cheaper. Barnes, we don't really know what's going to go on without Vardy, but I would take Barnes over Madison as well, I think. That one's a little closer. Rashford's injured, wouldn't go with him. Foden, maybe too much of a rotation risk, but good numbers. But we can see, according to understat.com, over the past, since December 15th, the Gundogan's had more expected goals per 90 minutes than De Bruyne. And he's only 0.4 behind Heung-min Son. So that's why I went Gundogan for these next couple of fixtures. But Son still being up there, typically he finishes more than he has done. That's why I'm bringing in Son soon. His numbers have been good. So, yeah, that's why I have Gundogan in at the moment. I know my face probably blocked most of that, but you can at least see the team name. I'll try to put that up. There we go. Yeah, so for me, it's Son or Gundogan. I still wouldn't captain Gundogan, though, because there's always a chance that whatever Pep does tactically just puts him in a bad position where he's too deep or he's not able to get shots off. Maybe the team they're pressing or team they're playing plays a high line, and then Gundogan just never has a chance to really get into the box. And that would suit somebody like Sterling more, or maybe Foden. I can't captain Gundogan personally, but he's on penalties, so you always get that cop out. Even if things are going wrong, one penalty and boom, 7 points at least, or misses it and then you get 0 points. Vardy to Antonio and Souček to Gundogan, or Dawson to Stones. I like Vardy to Antonio and Souček to Gundogan. I think that makes sense. Antonio some good fixtures, Gundogan great fixtures. I like that as well, but Dawson to Stones sounds good too. So I think all of those seem good. I think getting rid of Vardy is probably pretty important, though. You're going to want that money in the future. I'm Nuclear Atoms. Honestly, we don't even know. I'm not even going to think that far ahead. At that point, Man City will probably have bad fixtures when De Bruyne comes back. Is Gundogan still a better option? I'm not sure you really want either one of them. Everybody, I will say this. I feel like a lot of people have mentioned, I was watching other YouTube videos from other FPLers, and I've heard a lot of people mention, make sure you have a plan to get De Bruyne back. And it's I don't think you really need one. He's not been that essential. I know he's got good chances. He's obviously a good option, but he's not going to have good fixtures. You're going to have plenty of options like Salah. You can go ahead and get in Salah now or Son, and these guys are going to be able to do just fine. You're not going to need KDB. Don't change what you want to do with your team just so you make sure you can get KDB in, just to be disappointed by him as he's been so far this season in general. I mean, let's not forget Grealish, Salah, Son, and Bruno have all outscored him, and Rashford's 2 points behind. And when Rashford's 2 points behind you, are you really that good of a fantasy option? But Son, 9.7 for Son has been amazing so far with some decent fixtures. Not always in the high quantity of chances, but you got Salah here. And if you can just simply get Salah in, I think he'll hit form again soon. So I'm not planning on a De Bruyne route back in, but who knows? Could happen. But these fixtures are not good. In fact, all these fixtures are probably... I know it's Man City and they can always do well, but obviously Liverpool, Tottenham aren't good. Arsenal could be fine. West Ham is perfectly fine. But then Manchester United, not great. Probably low scoring. Even Fulham, they defended well against Man City last time. They defended well in general recently. Wolves, typically pretty good defensively. I think this is a decent matchup for City, though. And Leicester, obviously, been pretty good. So, really, the 7 fixtures after he comes back he's not really going to face somebody I'm too excited about. But I guess I'm just not excited about the City as much as I usually am in general. Just how it goes, I guess. De Gea over Martinez. For me, long term, I would not get De Gea. Too much money. I would go Martinez. Yeah, so I got 10 minutes left. Play Holding or bench him for Rashford. Yeah, Arvine, I need to make the decision. I do need to make that decision, that's for sure. I think I'm just probably going to stick with Rashford. Like, Southampton score in this whole debate it's off with. I mean, I could always throw in Reece James or somebody like that. But, wait, let's look up Danny Ings. First of all, what's Danny Ings' status? Is he going to play? That's the question. I would start Saka over Rafinha all day, to be honest, Mohammed. Rafinha has a good fixture, don't get me wrong, but Saka's just been too good recently. Dangerous in multiple ways, putting crosses in for people like Aubameyang, and also he's had some big chances created for him by Smith Rowe, who's basically set him up with tap-ins recently. Antonio, I would go Gundogan. That's what I did personally. If you're looking for a Man City player, it's just the safest one. And he's probably going to be their penalty taker. And he's also cheaper than like Foden. So if you can't make the decision, I would go with the cheaper guy. I think Foden can be good as well. Bernardo's high upside. Maybe he takes over the KDB role like he did back when Man City were so good. I think Bernardo could do that, but I think that's a wait and see. For now, I'm going Gundogan. I don't think he's like a captaincy option or anything though, but he's cheap enough where I can bench him if he starts playing poorly, and I'm okay with it. But he's also good enough to play right now. Mohammed, I would not get Rashford right now. He's there's a good chance he won't play against Sheffield United. He's been hurt. It was announced today that he's available. There's a good chance he's benched because of an injury. That's why I'm considering benching him. I would not go Rashford anyway because his fixtures are going to be pretty bad after Sheffield United. It's Arsenal. It's not terrible. I just think there are safer options. I think Son would be better. I do sort of expect a clean sheet from Holding. That's what I was going to pull up. Let me look at this update first. I do expect decent stuff from... Oh, yeah, I was going to look up Danny Ings, too. That's right. Danny Ings. So we've got 8 minutes. Let's go to Ings. So Ings appears to be back, as far as I can tell. Search Danny Ings injury. See if we can find anything from somebody like somebody I forgot their names. I mean, like, these bench options aren't the bench options I have, which are Souček, James, and Holding. I would say it's likely that they all blank, or likely each one of them independently is likely to blank, right? I think that's the most likely outcome. But they're all like not like I don't know, Anguissa or somebody like that. They have decent fixtures. They've shown good form in the past, so they're not all. I don't really have an issue if Rashford doesn't play. I'm not going to take a -4. I just have to decide. If Ings is going to score against Arsenal. James could be a good option as well, but who knows? Maybe he doesn't even play as well. Wow, I see some people transferring Ings in. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to take the chance with Rashford here. I think that's the way to go. I think it's just too high of upside, you know. Really, the maximum points Holding gets is like 6 or 7 with one bonus maybe. Souček or James? Who should be second sub? You know what? This is just too close to call. I don't think either one of them is going to do anything, but they're still pretty good bench options. I'll actually put Souček, but just because I know Souček's going to get 90 minutes. I can just hope if he does have to come in for whatever reason. Hey, Rodrigo Mimoso, yes, I will play you this week in the Elite FPL Super Cup. So let's see if I can go to elitefpl.com. Is that the right website? I don't know. Oh yeah, Kobe. So Burke is probably the best option right now in the world. Yeah. Too bad he plays in the championship, right? I've watched the Southampton and Arsenal game in the cup. Southampton didn't look so solid. Yeah, see, I don't love Southampton. I really don't. That's why I'm very tempted to play holding. But it's still Arsenal. How much do I trust them? They've been good recently, right? Defensively, it's not been too bad. Um, it's just so hard to bench Rashford. I think the high upside is almost unbenchable. I still think it's most likely he only gets 1 point though. But they're leading the league, right? I mean, if there ever was a time to risk him, although it's an easy fixture, I mean, they would want to. He did just play 90 minutes when he got hurt, or he was gonna play. I don't know. He didn't play 90 minutes. He got subbed off, but uh, I don't even know how to get there. Oh well. I was gonna pull up the matchup in the Super Cup that I have against Mr. Mimoso, but I can't find it. I'll have to go to my notifications or something. So yeah, I think I'm gonna play Rashford. This appears to be the team. I moved James back to third sub, just because I feel like Souček's a little safer. I think either way, if you have that decision, I don't think you can go wrong. I think it's pretty similar. Yeah. You know what? I'm actually going to put... no, I'm worried about James coming off the bench. That's the only thing that's keeping me from doing it. If you think James starts, I think he's a better option than Souček, though. Because you could argue that their goal/assist threat is pretty similar, but obviously James has the clean sheet, 4 points. And, Bruno captain, I haven't talked much about it because I don't really have many captaincy options. It's almost defaulted to Bruno. I'm not interested in Antonio. Hasn't really had too many chances. He has scored them, of course. He's a decent option, I suppose. But Bruno, I mean, I would never disrespect Bruno like that. This is ridiculous. Against Sheffield United, it's not necessarily the best tactically for him, but he's still just been too good this season. In fact, if I put him in there amongst these guys that I was looking at De Bruyne replacements with, let's see how good his numbers would be in comparison to people like Son and all these guys. Putting Bruno in there, I mean, his numbers are right behind Son over the past month. Obviously, he's got a better matchup than Son this week. Same expected goals per 90 minutes between Son and Bruno. Obviously, Bruno is on penalties, and he hasn't really got any recently either, so that's not really going to show up, I don't think. I think Bruno captain is just a simple way to go. You see Bruno against Sheffield United at home, and I think you don't really overthink that. Kane and Smith Rowe or Son and Watkins? You got 2 minutes. Ooh, wow. I think you go... I hate to say this, but I think Kane and Smith Rowe makes more sense, to be honest. Because Smith Rowe versus Watkins is a tough one. Kane's on penalties, though. Smith Rowe's looked good. Smith Rowe can always be turned into a bench option if you need him to be. I like either one. I don't think you go wrong there, Cheds. No Bertrand and Kyle Walker-Peters for Southampton. That does make a difference. I'm not going to... But that's more on the defensive side. That makes it look good for Saka, actually. Makes it look good for Saka. Who should you vice captain? Bamford, Stones, Gundogan, or Cancelo? I think... Oh, that's probably my second or third best captaincy option is actually Cancelo, but it's too much of a risk, right? Like, there's always a chance he gets benched more than Stones. I went with Stones because he's pretty nailed on. I think you go Bamford, though, on penalties, that sort of thing. Striker on penalties. Great matchup. I think you would go with him. My vice captain was Saka, and I think he's probably a little safer, but you never know, really. Either way, it shouldn't matter. At least one of Stones or Bruno is pretty much guaranteed to start, I would assume. I don't know. I like Saka and Stones as vice captains. Doesn't really matter, I suppose. So yeah, I'm playing Rashford. Is it gonna work out? Probably not. I don't really have high hopes for it, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think Southampton, like, I would say it's pretty 50-50 whether they score or not. We just don't know how they're gonna play with Ings back. And that is the deadline. The deadline has passed. See, I was actually just kidding. This whole thing was a rouse. I've actually triple captained Harry Kane. You know, I did this just to trick my wife. So yeah. Good luck, Harveen. Yes, have a good game week, guys, for sure. Let's see. Let's check out the. Oh, I was gonna check out the Beat Block League, but the deadline's passed. If I click on that, it's not gonna go well. You're benching Rashford. See, it's tough when you're benching Rashford. If you see starts, like, the feelings of dread are gonna come over you. Like, it's gonna be crazy. But that could actually work out though. Like Chilwell, there's uncertainty around him as well because of the manager change, I suppose. Just in terms of how well they'll defend. I mean, you would expect him to start, but maybe they throw Alonso out there. Yeah, so going to the expected goals, let's look at what Southampton have done recently. I mean, Southampton haven't played that much recently. They had so many games postponed. They failed to score against Leicester, though, but Leicester probably defending a little better than Arsenal. And they also didn't have Ings. Without Ings, it makes a big difference. Who knows, man? Who knows? But at this point, it's too late. I've put Rashford in, so I want to be able to see how my team looks next week. Go ahead and bench some people. Harveen. I was actually checking the league. I think I saw where you were in the league the other day. I believe, I'll just say it wasn't on the first page. And you know, that's okay. There's still plenty of time left. But only, 4 people are actually doing what the title of the league says, which is Beat Block. And if you'd like to join, by the way, the link is in the description. But yeah, some people had some great scores last week. I mean, I did as well, but some people beat me even. So yeah, it was pretty good. You know what, Harveen, since you mentioned it, let's go to premierfantasytools.com. Let's go to Mr. Harveen's team, if we can find it. So I actually think James Justin's had a great season. Like, I know Pereira's coming back soon, but I think you could make the argument that Justin's almost just as good. And I know a lot of Leicester people would, disagree, but over Castagna or Pereira, I think there's a decent chance that Justin could just keep playing. Like, he's been very impressive for me. He doesn't really, his long passing is probably his main weakness, I would say. Maybe crossing sometimes, but he's pretty good at that. I mean, he's a good short passer. Oh, come on. Yeah, Thomas, I think a lot of the dedicated FPL players, like if you're watching the stream at this point, they're probably in that category, right? Like I think as the season goes on, it's easier for us to gain rank, especially with people. Well, some people not deactivate, but lose interest, or some people simply don't keep up with things like double game weeks and know how to use chips efficiently, that sort of thing. So yeah, just how it goes. Fortunately, I can't quite see your team, Harveen, because it's not letting me, which is a shame. But I wonder if I can find it this way. Because so 1, 2, I'm determined to find it. By the way, whose price is going to drop tonight? Gunnigan's price went up, which is nice. Let's check out the price drops, but let's go to live FPL. livefpl.net/rank. So let's go to... Okay, so Stones is priced... Well, this has got to be a glitch, but they're saying he's, like, definitely going to go up tonight. But Stones, Bruno, Foden, Watkins, Cresswell, and Cavani, and probably Cancelo as well, maybe Ings, Martinez, Shaw. Decent chance of price rises tonight for all of them. That's a pretty good amount of people. And price falls, we got De Bruyne, Neto, Zuma, Vardy, Cutrone, Taylor, Walker-Peters, Salah, Robertson, Adams. This is a lot of relevant people, actually. Henderson, Dyer, Saiz, Tellez, Ritchie, Bertrand, Lamptey, Ailing, Mahrez, Elneny, Kyle Walker, McCarthy, Mina, Norwood, Masuaku, Dindonker, and then like Connolly, Ziyech, Kanza. So potentially a lot of movement tonight. I'm sure it will only be less than half of those people will actually rise or fall. But yeah, a lot of... So Kobe, I've played bench boost. I played wildcard 1, wildcard 2. So I have triple captain. And I have free hit. And the free hit's really going to help me in the future for the double game weeks or whatever. Like, yes, I've already used my wildcard, so that hurts in general. But as far as planning for the double game weeks go, I think that free hit can really help me out. Considering that a lot of free hits were okay, but some were good, some were bad last week. And I used the bench boost instead. I'm quite happy with my strategy. I think it worked out pretty well. Let's see. So we got 1274089. So with those chips, I haven't even planned on what I'm going to do with the free triple captain yet, though. Like, I know it's coming up soon, the double game weeks and all that, but I simply haven't decided yet. So, Harveen, I finally pulled your team up. And I see that you captained Foden last week. Luckily, it didn't hurt you too much because De Bruyne didn't really do anything, and that was probably the alternative, De Bruyne or Bruno. So you got a green arrow still, Harveen, so that wasn't bad. Your defense did well. I actually like... At first, when I saw this team, I'm like, wait, did I change teams? Is this my team? Just because I saw Rashford, Bruno, Souček, De Bruyne last week, and Cancelo, but I'm like, oh no. That wasn't a bad week. Antonio in there. If you only had Stones, the week looks so much better. Like, it's pretty much one player difference here. Vardy was a letdown, of course. So as far as this team goes, I mean, for the future, this team doesn't look bad. Foden without De Bruyne could be good. Like, that's the kind of player, if I had him, I would keep him now. And he looks like a better option. Souček isn't great, of course. But he is what he is. He's not bad. Chilwell's got some good fixtures coming up. Obviously, Cancelo's fine. Cresswell is fine as well. I'm trying to think of what you're missing. I would say, like, a Tottenham attacker. I would probably went Vardy to Kane or De Bruyne out, depending on who you have on the bench. But, yeah, obviously, I understand you're upset with your rank, sir, but this team isn't that bad. You could easily make this up, especially with just simply having Antonio and Bruno, some solid players here. The issue is, what did you do with De Bruyne and Vardy? That's the question. That's the thing. Like, De Bruyne being injured, like, I was like, oh, there's no real point in waiting to keep my transfer now because nothing's really going to be higher priority than selling an injured De Bruyne, right? Like, even when Rashford's hurt, I'm like, oh, I don't regret doing what I did because either way, De Bruyne being so expensive, I'm always gonna get rid of him. So the exact quote, so it showed no major damage according to about the Rashford scan. Marcus is available. Yeah, he trained this morning. Oh, he should be fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I played him looking at this again. I read this earlier, but we're looking strong, which is a good place to be in. Marcus is available. Yeah, he trained this morning. I think he tweaked his knee a little bit, but he should be fine. That sounds good to me. That sounds like we're looking at a potential start, but I still think a benching is pretty likely, like maybe even the most likely outcome. You can't start the fire without a spark. Yeah, I think you could finish in the first page. You could definitely get there, for sure. A lot of people have had bad starts, actually, and they've really came back. I've seen people like FPL Lens and obviously Late Riser. They made pretty good comebacks so far. Let's see if I can now find the my matchup in the Elite FPL Super Cup. So last Elite FPL have their own YouTube page, of course, and they held like a cup that has content creators and also like people from their own community, and they just did this like Champions League style tournament last season, and I finished second. I made it to the final, and I lost in the final last season, but I'm back in it this season. There was still a good run to finish in the final. Let me see if I can. Let me just go to my notifications and let me pull up my my games. Here we go. So I have FPL Mate in my group. I have Poly FPL, who I know from the Elite FPL community, who's always been. He's like a moderator there, and he's very involved with them. So let's see. Let's see if I can find a way to find out this link. I'm just looking for the link. Jeez. You captain Cancelo? That's bold. I mean, Cancelo, I would probably be saying this forever. But Cancelo, at some point, he's got to get a double-digit haul. I mean, he's got to, right? Like, he's been getting so much attacking threat in general, like touches in the box, all that sort of thing. He hasn't quite been able to just get the assist and a clean sheet in the same game, or if at all. But even he had a shot on target last game that, he hit it right at the keeper. It was with his left foot, but it still wasn't a bad strike. He could have scored. I was kind of upset last game, especially when they had to move him to right back. Like, I felt like he had so much more attacking threat at left back, and I hope that happens again. Yeah. I quite like. I'm happy to have Cancelo. I couldn't quite captain him though, not over Bruno at Sheffield United. Again, like I said, that would just be it would feel disrespectful to Mr. Bruno Fernandes to even consider that. But yeah, I need to pull up Google Sheets actually. I'm sure I'll go to Google Docs, pull up like my last essays or so that I had to write for college. That's my stream content now. Not really. Would be kind of interesting though. In fact, in one of my last ones, I don't think it was the exact last one, but I did use. I was talking about organizational behavior. I talked a lot I had to write about two separate films or pieces of media or whatever, and I had to talk about like how the organizational behavior like impacts the group and like what sort of like just identify theories that were going on within the media that I was watching. And I talked about All or Nothing with Tottenham, and I talked about how Jose Mourinho. I talked about like his tactics, and it was definitely not critical. It was definitely like, oh, he's doing this because this is effective, and that whole thing. It was very he did a very good job, according to, me referencing things from the textbook. It was all accurate based on what he was doing. So, again, I played Rodrigo Mimoso this week. This is my group in the Elite FPL Super Cup. You probably can't see that. Let me move this over a bit. So my group is Rodrigo Mimoso, Buffy, Harbor Boy, FPL Mate, and Polly. And I'm in first right now after my good game week last week. And I'm hoping to make it far. But, I want to play... I would love to, I don't know, play against somebody that I really like in the finals or something. That would be nice. Playing against, Andy or somebody in the finals. There's plenty of people, though. I think Ben Creelan's in it. There's just so many people in this tournament. late risers in it. There's a lot of good people. I watched FPL Wire the other day. It was pretty good. That's honestly like FPL Wire. That was pretty helpful. Their podcast was one of the most helpful ones that I listen to. I don't listen to a lot, to be honest, but the ones I do, I tend to find them pretty helpful. Yeah, all the best, Rajat. Oh yeah, the GFCT. So GFCT, the founder Ajit, he sort of had to take a break, so we couldn't quite ask the people to gather the questions to answer them. But I am interested in doing like a just something with those guys, like Sham, Gabe, FPL Mariner. Like I like we should do a video. So we'll have to get together and like just talk about whatever. That would be nice. I do quite like those. So yeah. Yeah, man, it just sucks. Technically the group dissolved, but I mean we keep on like we keep the chat going and everything. But for now, GFCT isn't technically a thing, but we still have like the group chat and all that. But yeah, I would like to do another Q&A style video. All those guys like Shaman, Gabe, I know for sure. FPL Mariner, he's like, so I'm 16K. I think FPL Mariner's 20K. Gabe and Sham didn't start off great, but they're really getting huge green arrows now. They're really flying up there. They're doing well. But you know, those guys, they know what they're talking about. Jack O is top of his group in the Elite FPL Super League. What group would that be? There's how many groups? There's a good amount. FPL Penguin, also on YouTube. He's leading his group. Daniel Bull, former host of Elite FPL, is up there. So, oh yeah, let's talk about doubles and triple captains. Let me go to Ben Creelan's page because this is something that I need to, I should probably start considering soon. So what better time to do it than right now on stream? So going to Mr. Ben Creelan, well, he put this in the header for us. So that's pretty nice. I'm going to assume this is up to date, I suppose. So we're looking at a double in game week 26, a blank in game week 29 and 33. That's as far as this little bit goes. So as far as triple captaincy goes, we can check it that Man City, I know they have some games at hand, right? Don't they? Or am I messing this up? Yeah, Man City have Everton and Southampton in hand. So in game week 26, yeah, so here Everton Southampton we could see off to the right here. So if one of these games is added to this game week 26 fixture, it's sort of going to depend on like if I have enough players where I don't have to free hit that week and it's a double, then that's triple captaincy probably guaranteed for me. That's probably simply how it's going to be, how it works. So let's say Man City versus Everton and West Ham United in game week 26. If I don't have to free hit, maybe I triple captain somebody like De Bruyne. Maybe, you know, I take the punt with Stones or somebody. These are things that could be very beneficial. If not then, or if not with them, because I don't necessarily love the idea of triple captaining De Bruyne. I don't know. I just feel like there are better options potentially. Tottenham have games in hand against Aston Villa and Fulham in game week 26. If they have a double game week, they could play like Burnley and Villa or Burnley and Fulham. Then triple captaining Kane could be something that I'm probably going to do. And that's probably looking more likely to me. Triple captaining Kane or Son, which would be Kane if I have Kane and he has a good double. I think Kane triple captain would happen for me. I would say that's most likely. And then I'd probably simply free hit in this blank or maybe another double down the line. So I think that's my generic plan right now. But again, I'll have to sort of plan for the blanks. I only have one free hit to use. So yeah, I haven't really done that yet though. To me, it's always going to be more important to simply make sure I have a good team. And I'll worry about dealing with blanks and doubles as a second priority to that. So Ben Cleveland thinks that Man City should, in terms of what the FA should do, not what they will do, they should have double game weeks in 24, 26, and 27 if they beat Swansea. Apparently that would make the most sense. Simply so to reduce congestion. It could also happen in game week 32, 37 in terms of doubles. So they have multiple places where these doubles could be rescheduled. But game week 26 looks likely double for some teams. Again, a lot of this is up in the air, and it's still going to be most important to focus on simply having a good team. So we're 10 minutes now from the lineups being announced. West Ham and Crystal Palace. I wouldn't expect much change from this, but this is basically simply streaming until Antonio is confirmed to start. Now, Crystal Palace have started some different teams recently. I don't think Zaha has started every game, as I just hit my ankle on the bottom of the table and it hurts. Let's go to Crystal Palace's recent lineups. I would love to see Zaha not start again, since I have Su Fall starting. I almost said Suchek. Don't want to get the guys from Czech Republic mixed up. If I can even find out Crystal Palace's lineup. Teams post so much on their game days, like just so many random posts. I don't want to see all these posts. Oh, we play in 6 hours. Here's a picture of one of our players. Good for you. Tyreek Mitchell, what an option he's been. I mean, I sold him a long time ago, but geez. He's kept on, he regained his starting spot. He's actually played pretty well when I've seen him play. He hasn't been bad. He's not like, Lee Peltier. What was that, 2 or 3 seasons ago when he occasionally started for Cardiff, but didn't really do anything and then got benched instantly. One of those 4.0 defenders that started off with a starting spot but lost instantly. I just really cannot find their last lineup. I don't even know why I'm scrolling through their Twitter, though. Let's go to Crystal Palace's last game. I'll make a prediction on all these upcoming fixtures. So, Crystal Palace. I've always liked Zaha, by the way. He's a fun player to watch. He's very talented, too. I'm surprised he's still at Crystal Palace. So, against Arsenal, they did start Zaha. They subbed on Ayew. Or maybe they subbed him off 8 minutes. I'm confused about that. Oh, yeah. So, they started Benteke over Ayew. Okay. Then subbed Benteke off with in the 82nd minute. In terms of chances created, and this is Arsenal we're talking about here. Arsenal barely created anything. Crystal Palace, on the other hand, barely created anything as well. Benteke did have 6 shots, though. But it's looking pretty good for a West Ham clean sheet. I know it's a little different, but you're looking at Eric Dyer triple captain. I wouldn't even go Aguero triple captain. Aguero's not even on my radar. Like, he's got to earn his way back onto my radar. Like, it's just not even close. Yeah. We all captain Oliver Burke, I think, Blues. It's kind of obvious. But we don't really know which teams will play in the double. I would just go through and look at any team that has games in hand. So, for example, you can go to Tottenham or Harry Kane and then fixtures and go down here. You'll see these 2 unlisted fixtures right here. That means they're going to get double game weeks more than other teams will. Because other teams will still get doubles because they'll have some blanks in the future. We can see Bruno, for example, doesn't have any games in hand. They already made those up earlier because he did at one point. Chelsea, do they have games in hand? No, they don't. I don't think Arsenal do. Liverpool and City are the main ones, I would say. I know there are other ones as well. Fulham. I have Areola. That's one reason I got him, by the way. He has 2 games in hand. Burnley and Tottenham. Not too bad. And obviously I got him because Fulham have also been defending reasonably well, I'd say. I think Arsenal will be able to score against Southampton. I think Southampton will turn up a decent amount attacking wise. I think they'll have some chances, whether they finish them or not. I guess it depends on whether they fall to Ings. But I think Arsenal will be able to score. I'm quite happy in having Saka, and I would definitely play him over Suchek, as you did, Nuclear Adams. And Kobe, I'm going to say yes, definitely for that first question. Son over El Ghazi sounds great because El Ghazi as much as I liked him when he did start, apparently he just lost his place now that Barkley's back. If he does somehow regain that starting spot, then of course he's going to be on penalties, so he becomes a great option. But Son is too good to ignore. And as far as Dallas for Justin, I'm not sure it's that important, but I get that you're going to want, a lot of these highly owned players for next week, in terms of defenders especially, don't necessarily have great matchups. But yeah, I think I'd rather have Justin than Dallas, unless you need that money to make the transfer. Yeah, Harveen, I gotta say, I'm not a fan of, in terms of FPL options, Jesus or Aguero at the moment. Like, in order for me to bring them in, like, especially considering I have Kane and Antonio that I'm pretty happy with, like, they'd have to really show me that they're nailed on and that they're going to score goals. Because Jesus, for a time there, was nailed on. He didn't do anything. And Aguero, how is he ever going to really show that he's nailed on? Like, that's going to be a while if that happens. But it's something to keep in mind. I mean, but they're not the players I'd be like, oh, I hear he's going to be back this week, I'm going to bring him in. No. It's going to be like, oh, he did well last game. Okay, now I'll consider bringing him in. They don't deserve like oh, he's going to be back, I'll bring him in treatment, I don't think. And Thomas, again, I keep saying bench Souček every time, I suppose, but I'm sure he'll do well now. But Smith Rowe, I like him over Souček as well. It's a good matchup for Souček, but I don't know, man. I just don't trust him. He is my second sub, though. Put him over James. So don't come after me too much when he scores. He's hard to predict, though. He really is. Because he plays differently than most players. So let's look into predicting these. Oh, but what I was going to say about Game Week 21 is, like, let's say you have, I don't know, what are highly owned, I mean, obviously Man City defenders, but if you have Arsenal defenders, they play Manchester United. Aston Villa away at Southampton is okay. This is just okay, but a lot of people have Leeds defenders. They play Leicester. A lot of people have Justin. They play Leeds. So really, it's Man City. Like, for me, I have West Ham, and they play Liverpool next week. So that means I have to. That's one reason I actually got in Reece James, because they play Burnley next week. I wanted this good Game Week 21 matchup. That's really messed me up, though. I should have gotten in Justin regardless, but that was just dumb. Yeah, so I'm going to have to probably play Reece James next week. But yeah, let's look at these matchups. So, and let's predict Game Week 20 end results. So I play the NBC Sports Predictor app. Like, you just have to pick 5 games. I don't know if you have to be from the United States or not, but you pick 5 games. If you get the exact score on each one, it's free to play, by the way. You get like $50,000 or something. It's one of the mini games like Fantasy 5, like all these games that are free to play, where the outcome where you really win a lot of money is just very unlikely. So it's still worth it from them, just from advertisements on the app. But yeah, it's a common thing nowadays. Like, oh, play this free to win free to play fantasy game. It's likely that everybody loses this week. But even if you win without getting a perfect score, you still get like $1,000, but you split it with everybody else that did that. So anyway, so I'm just gonna see what I predicted on here. First 5 games they picked out. Do I disagree with that? I picked Chelsea 2-0 over Wolves. Now with the manager change, I think that's reasonable enough. I still think Wolves, pretty decent chance they score. I'm actually gonna put Wolves. I don't think there'll be 3 goals in the game, though. I wanted to say 2-0. I want Chelsea to win, but I think Wolves score. But I don't think Chelsea will score 2. So it's either 1-1 or 2-0 or 2-1. I'm actually going to go. I'll take the chance with 2-1. I'll say 3 goals. Chelsea beat Wolves 2-1, I suppose. Brighton and Fulham, probably low scoring. I don't know. Brighton may open the game up a little bit. They think they can win it. I'm going to say, I'll say 1-1 there. Leicester versus Everton. Now that's a tough one. I'll say Leicester win 1-0. And Sheffield United versus Manchester United. I'm going to stick with a 2-1 United win. Could be 3-1, but I'm going to go 2-1, I think. Tottenham, Liverpool. I'm going to go 1-1. That's probably 2 goals. It's not, it could be 1-0 or it's 0-0. You know what? I think I'll actually change it up a little bit. No, I'll go 1-1. Fair enough. So those are those fixtures. Crystal Palace, West Ham, which are about to release their lineups now. I think West Ham are the slight favorites, but it's a little bit too close to call, I would say. It's probably going to be reasonably low scoring. Antonio starts, Soufal starts, Souček starts. Those are the big boys. Dawson starts again for those of you that own him. Congratulations. Bowen starts. All the regular guys. Fabianski, Soufal, Dawson, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Rice, Souček, Bowen. Fornals, Benrahma, Antonio. So nothing notable at all besides Balbuena benched. And then going to Crystal Palace. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Crystal Palace. I could probably predict the Crystal Palace lineup. So Guaita, Ward, Kouyaté, Cahill, Mitchell, Townsend, Milivojevic, MacArthur, Eze, Zaha, Benteke. That's pretty much exactly what you would have expected. Maybe Riedewald in there, maybe Van Aanholt in there, but that's pretty standard stuff. So exactly what you expect from both teams. Crystal Palace at home. I'm going to say for this game, again, I don't think it's going to be too high scoring. I'm going to actually predict a pretty boring. I say it's probably going to be one of those games where it should deserve to be a draw, but one of them teams is just going to finish better than the other team. So I'll say West Ham 1-0, but 1-1, something like that is very possible. Newcastle, Leeds, wow. Who knows what happens in this game? I'm going to say Leeds actually do well again and win this game a little bit comfortably. I'll say 2-0 Leeds. Wilson's still a good option, though. Southampton, Arsenal. Well, we've talked a decent amount about this game. I think Arsenal are able to score 3. It's either going to be 3-0, 3-1. I say 3-1. Again, with Arsenal, who knows how you even predict them. Man City, West Brom. Now, this one, of course, will be very interesting. And I am planning on live streaming during this game. I'm going to say Man City win 2-0. Again, the creativity, I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, but Man City have not killed that many teams this season. So I'm sure a lot of people would predict 5-0, but we just haven't seen it that much. Burnley, Aston Villa. Again, I'm not expecting high scoring. I'm going to say 1-0 Villa. Chelsea, Wolves. I predicted that one earlier. Same thing with these. And Liverpool, Spurs. I'm going to say, I said 1-1. So yeah, those are all the games actually. So one more thing before I end the stream. Now that I have done that, this is going to be a side note, I suppose. But and no, Kobe, I wouldn't consider West Brom assets. I can't say I would find a. You had to take your PSAT today and finish 10 minutes before the deadline. Cool. I mean, I sort of did the same thing with those sorts of tests, to be honest, though. I prefer the SAT over the ACT. I actually, only because our best student, and when I was in high school, didn't take it, I got this award for getting the highest SAT score in our class. I'm not going to tell you what it was, though, because it still wasn't. Your school probably beats it if you have more than, 150 people in a class like we did. Reasonably small, right? That's a good question, Raja. The best City midfielder for the next 5 games. I think there's some high upside with Bernardo and Foden. I don't love Torres. I think he's going to lack goal threat no matter what. I think Sterling's going to be too expensive. So I think it's, if we see Bernardo Silva take over the KDB role, then we're probably looking at Bernardo Silva here if he looks good. There's a lot of ifs there, I think Gundogan's the safest one for now with penalties. That's my bet, but it's really subject to change based on how they play. Nuclear Atoms, I think that's very possible. Those double game weeks, yes. And Daniel, I think I would lean towards doing the same thing with starting Smith Rowe there, but yeah, Mood. Of course, I captain Bruno. Why would I not? Bruno against Sheffield United. De Bruyne injured. Tottenham and Liverpool both have tough matchups. What other? Who else can I really trust for captaincy? I hope Zuma played this week. Yeah, I don't think he will. I mean, change of managers. I forgot. You know, I think he should. I think he was doing well. Yeah, see you, Harveen. And yes, Zaha does play. Oh yeah, I forgot Leeds and Newcastle are playing right now. It's fair enough. I think Dallas is. I saw a tweet that Dallas may be playing at center mid. Let's see if it's been retweeted by Fantasy Premier League. Okay, so Leeds, Meslier, Alioski. Ooh, he starts. Cooper, Lorente, Ailing, Phillips, Dallas, Rafinha, Rodrigo, Harrison, and Bamford. So all the main guys start besides maybe Click. Dallas looks to be far forward. Good for Dallas owners if you started him. So Yedlin's still on the bench. We got Darlow, Murphy, Hayden, Shar, Lewis, Lascelles, Shelby, Hendrick, Almiron, Fraser, and of course Colin Wilson. I think I like that lineup from a Newcastle perspective. You know why? Because it doesn't have Joe Ellington. That's why. Saint-Maximin is on the bench though. I think they should bring him on. Nice impact sub. Almiron or Fraser will probably get pretty tired. This is one reason why I haven't really touched Newcastle defenders ever since the one I got, who was it, Lewis. You just never know when they're going to rotate, and it's been kind of frustrating. I haven't loaded this up in a while. I don't know if this is even safe to do. But let me go to the FIFA web app, because for those of you that play FIFA, you may be interested in Team of the Year is out now. And on Thursday, what's a game Thursday? Oh, so during Spurs Liverpool, that's at 3 p.m. my time, 8 p.m. EA time. I just want to show you how many packs I have. For the first time ever, I've saved up packs for Team of the Year, and I have a lot of packs. Hoping to pack one of these Team of the Year players. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, Bamford's on penalties. That's right, Mood. I agree. And I personally would have went Fabianski over Martinez, I think, but again, that's really close. Martinez has done well in terms of FPL points, that's for sure. I think those are all fair enough predictions, Jack. I don't see Saints Arsenal being 0-0. I think Arsenal will find a way to at least score one, with some injuries that Saints have, but yeah, I probably a little bit too much confidence in Arsenal when I said they'll win by 3. And I would say Leeds are more likely to win than not. But I don't mind this Newcastle lineup, Fraser and Wilson in there. Let's move this over here. See if I can log into the web app. Yeah, Newcastle have been poor recently. They've been poor, but it's Leeds who have also been pretty poor recently. So that's going to be an interesting game, not from an FPL perspective, because I don't care. I don't have their players, but just to see if Leeds, a lot of people are saying the Bielsa myth has been just completely destroyed. I don't mind the Burnley defenders. I don't think I ever really will. But yeah, I'm not really sure Nuclear Atoms. Let me check their fixtures. Burnley. Oh, I can't go here, can I? Has the FPL site updated? I'm gonna refresh and check if it has. Probably not though. Nope. I don't think Burnley's fixtures are amazing. I don't think they're terrible either though. I think there's probably better options if you go a little bit more expensive. I'd say it's the most important. I mean, I don't know. With 2 Man City defenders, you only really need 1 defender to play each week. So it is what it is. But what I was saying is for the yeah, I did have a long password there. But so yeah, this probably only interest half of you, but on Thursday, when the full team of the year should come out, I think it's Thursday, right? Maybe Friday. Either way, at some point, like during one of these live streams, at the end of these live streams, I'm gonna open 2 million coins worth, over 2 million coins worth by then, worth of packs, hoping to get a team of the year player. I probably won't open them all on stream though. Probably just some of them. I like how they look on the console better, but this is an incredible amount of packs. So let's see how many 100k packs I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 100k packs right there. That's a million mega packs, rare mega packs, a bunch of rare mega packs. These are all just from awards. I haven't bought any packs this year with points. Again, I never saved them for team of the year, but I decided to this year. Just a bunch of packs. A bunch of 81 plus upgrade packs, 281 plus rare players, like 12 of those. I have the 83 rare players 25 pack, which is amazing. Obviously that's from Icon Swaps. Got the 82 rated defenders, so we're looking at over 2 million coins worth of packs here, because like 4 rare mega packs will be added to this, and like 2 100k packs more will be added to this, plus whatever SBCs I do. How many ultimate packs was that? Probably like 3 or 4. But the 10 100k packs, it's a lot. Okay, only 2 ultimate packs? I thought I had more. Oh, 3, 4. Okay, 4 ultimate K, probably what? 7, 4 or 5 rare mega, a bunch of megas. That's a lot of coins worth of packs, so that's for sure. So yeah, I'll open those. I'll open some of those on some stream at some point once full team of the year comes out, I suppose. But yeah, for now, I want to come stream during the Man City game as well. So if that happens, then that happens. Don't know for sure if it's going to happen though. But yeah, thanks for watching the stream. Hopefully you have a good game week. Hopefully captaincy works out for me. It didn't really last week. I would consider De Bruyne kind of a fail. Yeah, I would hope to get a team of the year from that amount of packs, but I've never packed a team of the year before. I have packed some good things though in FIFA 19. I didn't play FIFA 20 though. Took a break. I just didn't like the game, but I pretty much I finished 20-7 last week in weekend league. Couldn't be bothered to go for elite, but I get gold 1 pretty easily, so that's where I'm at with FIFA right now. But yeah, start Dyer versus Liverpool or Smith Rowe versus Southampton. Well, the deadline's already passed, so you're a little late, but I would start if I had to choose. I think I would start Smith Rowe every time, actually, even though I like Mourinho's ability to coach against Liverpool. I will open some packs on stream. Not now though, Clear Adams. Not now. I will open some. Maybe later if defenders come out, I'll do it. But yeah, just save them all for when full everything comes out. But yeah, thanks for watching the stream. I will catch you next time. Hopefully that will be later on today. But yes, have a good game week, guys.